Okay, this is a quick video with some thoughts for Lats and Sinner, RIP. It's awful to think about their families and two young men with their lives ahead of them just cut short. It's absolutely awful, and if it can happen to Anthony Joshua, trust me, it can happen to anybody, and I'm not trying to equate it, but I'm going to give you a quick story just so I can put you in the mind of where I think Anthony Joshua is just right now. So about, oh my gosh, when I was in my early 20s, I was coming back from Notting Hill Carnival with three of my friends and a girlfriend. I was in the exact same seat as Anthony Joshua, in the seat behind the driver. And we were speeding down the motorway, and it was a clear road, thankfully. And then one of the rear tyres went and the car was spinning around as it was going forwards, but I noticed we were kind of going off towards the central reservation, and I've never been in that situation before. And I remember there was a point where the car was spinning around, and I was wondering whether my side of the car was going to hit that central reservation at speed, but it carried on turning and it ended up being the offside, aka the passenger side, that impacted the barrier. Thankfully, nobody was injured. The car was a write-off. Nothing to the extent of Anthony Joshua's car, but the car was a write-off. Now, I replayed that incident in my mind for weeks after it happened, and nobody was injured. Now, Anthony Joshua was in a situation, and this is what I'm thinking about, where he would look to his right, and both friends are dead. And that has got to play with the mind. So if we go first friend first, you look to your immediate right, you can see his injuries, and he's dead, he's gone, he's your friend. He's a human being first, but he's also your friend. And you've got to kind of process all of these things about what you're going to say, how you're going to try and help. You've got your own injuries, but you know that he's gone. And if you've seen the photo of the front passenger side, where the whole front and the side is caved in, those are sights that no human being wants to see, let alone if it's your friend. And I absolutely feel for Anthony about what he had to see in that situation. But thank goodness at least Anthony was fine and the driver was fine, but he's never going to make up for the two friends that are gone. And that's the reality they need to live with and process. I say for me, having lost nobody, I needed time to process that. And I'm thinking that Anthony is going to need time to process, and hopefully he goes for some level of counselling where he can at least unburden and be given strategies about how to deal with the grief and the horror of that situation. And I'm not so sure whether he's going to be in a fit state of mind to fight in 2026. And even if he does fight in 2026, it's infinitely more likely that he's going to lose anyway. I'm not saying it's not going to happen. I don't know Anthony. I don't know his circle, but that is obviously going to play on his mind, and it's only just happened. And from the recent reports, he was released from hospital on the Wednesday, when I record this, Friday, 2nd of January 2026, and it's just obviously all too soon. There's just so much that he has to process and take on board. And I hope that he's on the plane back to London and he can be around his family and they can just hold him and just reassure him, and he can be pampered and, you know, just take the weight off and not have anything to think about. So trying to plan for another fight should be the last thing on his mind. It's going to take a lot of time to get over that, and just to get through the funeral and paying his respects and everything like that. I just don't see how it can be done, and so my thoughts go out to him. But on the other hand, I mean, who knows? Maybe he needs the distraction of putting all his energy and his frustration and his pain into training for a fight. That may well be it. But I'm thinking mentally, I say, even if he gets to that fight, he ain't going to be in the right state of mind. I just doubt it. But yeah, my heart goes out to Anthony. My heart goes out to the families of Lats and Sinner. And nobody could have predicted that something like this would have happened. It's absolutely awful. And it's just a reminder to us all as we go into 2026 to make the most of every day. If you've got loved ones out there, make sure you pick up the phone and just let them know that you're thinking about them, that you still care and things like that. And I will take my own advice on that too. And some things just aren't worth arguing about and fighting about in the bigger scheme of things. I'm not talking about Lats and Sinner, I'm talking about me, and I'm talking about us, obviously. And my thoughts for Lats and Sinner, they've gone way too soon. It's absolutely awful, and my thoughts go out to their families. Please like, subscribe. Daddy Steve and I am out.